So there's been some big news announced today about the upcoming Borderland film. We had now have an idea of who the cast is going to be for a bunch of the main characters from the game. They're not necessarily in order. They've taken some characters from different Borderlands titles, whether it's Borderlands 1, Borderlands 2, from some of the DLCs, and they put them together in what's just being called the Borderlands movie. And there's a lot of buzz going around the internet right now about the castings, and we're going to break them down here together right now. Now, for context, I'm not a critical person when it comes to entertainment. As long as I am entertained, that's all that matters to me. I can be entertained by bad stuff. If it's entertaining, that's all that matters. If it's good, bad, I'm indifferent, as long as I'm entertained by it. And these descriptions that I'm going to be giving you about the characters, they're just generalizations. I'm just going to be hitting the high points. I'm not going to be diving deep into them and, having some actually moments about certain perspectives of the characters. I'm just going to be almost like explaining to somebody what Borderlands is without them actually having ever played the game or knowing anything about the series. The first one I want to talk about is Cate Blanchett as Lilith. Cate Blanchett is one of my favorite actresses ever. I did not know how much of a gothic emo chick kink that I actually had until I saw Cate Blanchett as Hela in Thor. Wow, that unlocked some avenues for me, and she absolutely killed, literally and figuratively, in that role, and I loved her. Absolutely loved her. And she wooed me a long time ago. My favorite franchise, series, story, whatever you want to call it. My favorite title, entity, is Lord of the Rings. It's Lord of the Rings, and then everything else. That's the king of the castle to me, baby. That's the top of my mountain, is Lord of the Rings. And she played Galadriel, and she played it hauntingly great in the Lord of the Rings film. So Cate Blanchett, to me, everything she's ever done that I've ever seen, I've really, really enjoyed. And she's cast as Lilith. Lilith plays a Siren class. The Siren class, the best way to describe them, you can spot a Siren class by them being marked in tattoos. And the best way to explain them is to kind of compare them to the Green Lanterns, if you're familiar with them from DC Comics. They have been given a power. And this power, there's only 6 sirens in the entire Borderlands universe at a time, give or take. And this power passes to and from worthy individuals. The siren, when they pass the power, can choose who gets it, or if they pass and they don't get to choose, then it finds the next most worthy vessel. The tattoos on their bodies almost act kind of like a conduit, or a place where they can channel their powers, almost like the Green Lantern ring. They'll light up whenever they're casting their spells, and that is what they're good at. Their powers deal with psychic and interdimensional, but they're referred to commonly in the Borderlands world as witches, predominantly because they're of the female variety, but witches nonetheless. And Cate Blanchett played one of the most famous witches of all time. She was referred to, Galadriel in Tolkien's text was referred to as a witch by her enemies and some disgruntled, upset dwarves, but she's the Witch Queen of Lorien. Cate Blanchett can play witchcraft, sorceress style physical roles. This is going to be a very physical role. These folks get into gunfights and like wizard offs, baby. We got guns blasting in one hand and spells blasting in the other. And Cate has proven time and time again that she can pull this off, and I think she's going to pull it off in this. There has been some, and one of the things about Lilith is that Lilith, and I think Cate can absolutely embrace this and run with it, is that Lilith is a badass babe, and she's a self-described. She says that she gets her powers because she crossed the hotness threshold, and when she went past the hotness threshold, the universe said, "Here, have some powers. You're too hot for everybody." An exact quote from her is, "Any woman as good looking as me can do what I do." That's her official statement, by the way. So she's such a cool, fun character. It's going to be a very physical role with and it's a role that I can see in my mind Kate playing the role. Like she did it with Hela, she can pull it off. She did the sorceress witch queen supreme in Lord of the Rings. What I see people buzzing about on the internet from the communities that I have visited is that she's too old for the role. As long as Kate can pull off the physicalness of the role, I don't think anybody's going to bring up age being an issue. Lilith, the Siren class, there's a sort of seductress side, a competence, a not succubus, but it's witches are sometimes portrayed as being very luscious or haunting, hypnotizing with their beauty. And sirens are famously, through mythology, they coax you to them with their beauty and their voice. So this is certainly it's going to be a very physical role. I think if Cate Blanchett can pull off the physical aspect of it, there's going to be any issues about her age whatsoever. I think she's going to kill it. Here's where my biggest concern is, and we got a lot of other characters to discuss, but this one's the second on my list. Kevin Hart as Roland. I don't know. Roland is the character closest to my heart because Roland is the character that I have spent the most time with in the game. The most hours of any character class in the whole franchise that I have spent it with Roland. I know this character very well. I know his styles. I know his lines. And he's never struck me as the comedic type. And Kevin Hart is a comedian. That's what he's famous for, is comedy. And to describe Roland, he is a soldier class. And he's actually pretty generic as compared to the other over-the-top characters and classes that's inhabited in this world. He's a highly trained soldier and he's a weapon specialist, but what he really brings to the table is he has a deployable turret. And you can take it and toss it wherever you want to on the battlefield, whatever strategic location that you want. And then this will give you cover fire. It'll put up shields for you so that it blocks incoming fire. It'll actually poop out ammo if you go the support direction, because you can go like offense or defense or support, whatever direction you want to go with the skill tree. And Roland, he's not vanilla, but he's never been the comedic relief of the group at all. He actually more strikes me like the badass 90s action hero type. What I really envision him in my mind is that he's John Spartan and Phoenix. What was Wesley Snipes' character's name? The other character. There was two of them, two heads of the movie. Simon Phoenix. So you had John Spartan and Simon Phoenix. If you took John Spartan and Simon Phoenix from Demolition Man and put them together, Sylvester, he's a good actor, don't get me wrong, but Wesley Snipes just oozes charm and charisma. Well, that's Roland to me. He's still charismatic and charming in a very punctual, badass 90s action hero way. Kevin Hart doesn't do that for me at all, across any table whatsoever. I don't even like Kevin Hart's comedic style. He mostly just mocks everything, which that's comedy, I guess, but he just normally mocks everything, and he's always got his face scrunched up in just absolute disbelief. Just everything everybody says, he's just always in disbelief. That doesn't do it for me. Just not my style of comedy, and Kevin's just, I don't know how he's going to do his Roland. He's got the physical part of it, and he's a shorter guy. I mean, Roland's taller than most of the, I don't know. We'll have to see about that one. This one's the character that I care about the most, and this was the one casting that I feel the most, I don't know about. Jack Black as Claptrap. Let me just start this off by saying, if I could get a Tenacious D tattoo again, I've already got a Tenacious D tattoo on my body. I got a T on one cheek and a D on the other cheek. When you slap them together, you got Tenacious D. And then they wrote that song about how everybody's going to have their Tenacious D tattoos removed because Pick of Destiny didn't do good. And I went and had that tattoo removed. But I'll get another one. I'll get another one for Jack Black. Jack Black, for context, I didn't think he would be a good Bowser, and he blew my mind. He was a fantastic Bowser. Hell, he made one of the most catchy and can't get out of your mind songs of all time with Peaches. Like he just always delivers in whatever role that he's in. He's fantastic. Claptrap, where the issue comes with that is that same thing with Roland, because these characters have already been given life on the big screen, in this sense on a gaming platform. You have their mannerisms and their voice style, their looks, you have those, like in this instance, it's going to be a voice acting gig, but you have an idea of what this character looks, sounds like, and behaves. Claptrap's voice, maybe, I can't think of 10 other iconic voices out of the top of my head, but he's up there with, David Hayter and Metal Gear Solid. And he's got like a very distinct voice. When you see Claptrap, you can already hear his high, shrill, over-eccentric voice in your head. And that's what Claptrap is. Whereas Roland is not the comedic sidekick or comic relief. Claptrap absolutely is. Claptrap had me more often than not doubled over and laughing because of all the dumb stuff that he would say. In the game, Claptrap is a general purpose robot, but he's had some assassin training or programming at times. He's been programmed with an overly enthusiastic personality, and he loves to tell you about it. And he loves to just take everything and spin it in a positive way, and he never shuts up, really. But he serves as a plot progression device mainly in the game. He'll show up when you walk into town and say, you need to go talk to such and such, or he'll guide you to where you need to go, almost like a waypoint guide in the game. He cracks me up because he'll want to help you, and then like he's iconic for staying over into a corner and crying. Like his personality and behavior's all over the place. Jack Black can deliver that. It's not that I don't have faith in Jack Black. It's just Claptrap is already so iconic. Bowser never really was. He never really had a voice. He always just roared in the games for the most part. Claptrap, we hear a voice. Claptrap, I can hear Claptrap talking in my head right now. So how Jack Black's going to turn that, I don't know. But hey, if anybody can do it, it's Jack Black. Ariana Greenblatt as Tiny Tina. Tiny Tina is a fan favorite. Tiny Tina is such a fan favorite that she got her own game in Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep, which took Borderlands and Dungeons and Dragons and put it together into like just a Reese cup peanut butter and chocolate super package of awesomeness. It was fantastic. Ariana Greenblatt, I actually have no idea who she is. And she was the one person when I was looking across the board at the actresses and actors that were cast, I just said to myself, who is this person? I don't know who this person is. And that's not to say she's not famous. I've just never, or not good at her job. I've just never seen anything she's been in. Even when I looked her up, I still haven't seen none of the movies she's been in, but she has got a tall task on her plate. Tiny Tina, the character, is a lunatic in every sense of the word. And she is a lunatic who really likes bombs, and she's really, really good with them. She's described in the Borderlands universe as the most dangerous 13-year-old on the planet, whatever planet they're on at the time, and she's a demolition expert. She's such a cool and fun character. She plays more of a supporting role in the game. She does it from an NPC perspective, so you see her and she comes around with you on missions, stuff like that. She guides the players through the game. She had her opportunity as kind of a storyteller, the head of a game where she took you into a dungeon master world and put you through it with her little crazy nonsense. And her style was impossible boss fights at the beginning of the game when you're underpowered, but she's crazy, so that's how it goes. Or unbalanced gameplay, but she's crazy, so you just kind of went with it. This is going to be a hard one for this actress to pull off. Tina is a loose mental cannon. She can communicate with you, she can have a conversation with you, but one eye might drift off and she might smack her head to pop it back into place, or she may use made-up words as sentence enhancers, or she may take a nap mid-sentence and then snap back in and continue to talk. She's a very eccentric, very hyperactive behavior. But the good thing is that, at least from my perspective, I've never seen Ariana Greenblatt's material before. Whereas, I kind of know what to expect from Jack Black and from Kevin Hart and Kate Blanchett. Ariana's got a clean slate. She can go into this thing and just Nick Cage this shit and just go, just Tina it up and blow all of our minds. And I think she's very capable of that. From what I've seen, she continues to get cast, and most of the movies she's been in are critically received pretty well. So, hey, more power to her. Maybe she'll knock it out of the park. We'll have to see. So Roland is the character I spent the most time with. I think this next character may be my favorite character from the series. Florian Montenoy, which I'm Appalachian. I was raised in a school with 60 people in my class, and we didn't take book learning too serious, but We got through what we needed to get through. I can count all the deer in my field right now. There's 11 of them out there. I know I probably butchered, well, no, I didn't probably. I did butcher the guy's name, but his name's Florian M, and he's playing Krieg. This, I can't wait. The main enemy, the enemy that you're most familiar with from the Borderlands series, and what you will probably, if you type in Borderlands, what you'll find on Google, is a psycho, which is like the grunts from Halo. They're like the main cannon fodder for your good guys. You'll see a psycho with his mask on, like stretched up, neck weaved out in front of the camera with his hand up like this. That's like the big iconic shot that most folks attach to the Borderlands series. He's one of those. He's a psycho class. He's a playable character, and psychos are developed by experimentation and torture. So they're kidnapped by the powers that be, the bad guys, whoever that bad guy might be at the time in the universe. They bring them in, they torture them, they experiment on them, and they give them great trauma, and it snaps them, makes them go nuts. And then they release them back out into the world to go do psycho crap. Well, this is Krieg. Krieg's been through that. And he described... he's almost like the Hulk. Here's another comics reference, but I love comics if you can't tell. He's almost like the Hulk. He's got two personalities at play. He's got his inner voice, his sane voice. Krieg's on the inside. Krieg is there. He's inhabiting this body. But he has no control, in a sense. He can get you from point A to point B, but the vessel that he's in is steering itself. It's hard to describe. He's in there, he's talking, he's communicating. He'll even say, and I'll say this, and then he'll go to pronounce it, and then the body will say something totally different. It's a unique dichotomy of his psycho body and his psycho personality is in there, and then he's in there, and he's still calling the shots, but when he calls the shots and the mind relays to the body still plays psycho ball, if that makes sense. It's such a cool character. But Krieg is calm and calculating and intelligent. His bodies will spout psychobabble. Here's the lines when I say psychobabble. Such great lines like, I have the shiniest meat bicycle. Or another line like, I'm going to put my pain into your soul. Or my favorite line, when he first met Maya, who's another siren and a badass babe, and you want to impress people like this. He wants to impress her. He's immediately smitten by her. When he sees her, he yells, I'm the conductor of the poop train. Even though he had something else he wanted to say. His psychobabble came out. So he's going to be a fun character. The actual actor, Florian, was made famous from the Creed movies. In order to play Krieg, this guy is a very physical, powerful, large force that you're dealing with here. He's a big meathead bodybuilder type, just a monster of a man. And Florian is that. I don't think I've ever seen him in anything besides the Creed stuff he's done, so I don't know how he'll be able to translate the physical intimidation with the psychobabble. But Krieg is his character, besides his personality, his role is that he is a up-close melee brawler who likes to chop things up with his axe, which Florian's going to be able to pull off in spades. I'm going to be most excited to see him doing that, but also ripping out psychobabble, swinging his axe around in a very physical, scary position by also yelling, I'm the conductor of the poop train. That's going to be a lot of fun for the actor and for the audience to see. And then last but not least, the Scream Queen herself, Jamie Lee Curtis, is Dr. Patricia Tannis. Jamie Lee Curtis has a very, very special place in my heart. From my early cinema days, from watching Halloween and True Lies growing up, Arnold Schwarzenegger is my favorite movie. He's not the best actor ever, but he's my favorite. Like he was my hero growing up. So True Lies, I mean, in Halloween was like one of the first horror movies that I ever watched. And then even her more modern roles where she was so good in Everything Everywhere All at Once. I mean, that whole movie is a trip. She's fantastic in it. Her range is incredible. Even here's where I have a lot more. I've always loved Jamie Lee Curtis, but now my faith in her is just turned to 11, past the 10 on the knob. Her surprise appearance as a guest on Game Grumps, a little gaming YouTube channel. When I say little, there are millions of subscribers, but Hollywood, YouTube, two different things. She made a surprise guest appearance as a guest on Game Grumps because she's very connected with the nerd and geek culture, and her family and her children and her grandchildren are very connected to the nerd and geek culture, just like we are. She took this role, she sought this role out because her granddaughter told her she had to. So she did what her granddaughter told her to do. And she's playing Dr. Patricia Tannis, who most of the series beginnings of Borderlands revolves around her. She's the one that gives out the initial call for the Vault Hunters and is the main driving force of the early missions in the game. And as the story progresses, she progresses along with you. She's a very fun character because she is incredibly intelligent and she's very, very capable. She's genius level intellect. She does have loads of trauma that have kind of developed into little tics and behavioral oddities. And I think Jamie Lee will have a lot of fun with that. I really think that she'll take it and she'll run with it and she'll make it her own and she'll deliver it. For some reason, when I think of her acting crazy, I think of Christmas with the Cranks, but another underrated movie, a very grumpy Christmas movie, but underrated movie. She is scared to death of people, for one example, and she copes with being scared of people by developing unhealthy attachments to things like her recorder that she talks into and chairs. She like personalizes them and makes them not like imaginary friends, but she gives them life. And that's how she copes with not going out and talking to people. So the best way to describe what she looks like in the game, she kind of looks like Catwoman. Like the Batman with Robert Pattinson, that version of Catwoman played by Zoe Kravitz. That's what she looks like. So again, the buzz about the character is that Jamie, who is still incredibly beautiful, is older than what the role is traditionally in the games. Now, in this instance, Dr. Tannis doesn't really get into the trenches and fight like we do, or like the main characters do. So I'm curious if the direction they're going with that is to make her kind of the Gandalf of the group. There I am throwing around another Lord of the Rings reference, but she makes all the wheels spin as the wizened veteran adventurer because she's still a vault hunter in the Borderlands series. She pulls the strings is kind of the direction I see them going with that. So from that point of view, I think Jamie Lee's going to be just fine. I don't think age is going to be a factor. That's not a very physical role as opposed to what Cate Blanchett will be doing as Lilith. I think it's going to be fantastic. This whole fever dream is being helmed and ran by Eli Roth, and that's why I have faith in this movie. And not only is Eli Roth being given a lot of creative liberties and the opportunity to run with this, it's being watched after by Randy Pitchford, who is the CEO of Gearbox, or I should say the executive head of Gearbox. He may be the CEO. I only know him as the head of Gearbox. And those are the folks that produced and developed the game originally. So Randy is keeping an eye on things as executive producer, while Eli is given the opportunity to create what he is describing as a Borderlands cinematic universe. So the age for some of the roles was one thing that I saw get brought up a lot, and the other thing I thought get brought up a lot was the selection of characters. And the big one, a lot of folks kept saying, where's Brick? That's the one I saw the most comment of. They're wanting to make this like a Marvel Cinematic Universe or a DC Cinematic Universe with the intentions, I'm sure, if this does well, which it should, of the intentions of bringing in the other characters as the cinematic universe grows. So it's a mishmash of different Borderlands entries, throwing the characters together, and then the series will continue to grow with other characters. So my hope lies mostly in Eli. Eli blew my mind with Cabin Fever back in 2002. That movie, it's not a groundbreaking movie, but it was certainly a very different horror movie at the time. Think like Rob Zombie's early stuff of The Devil's Rejects and House of a Thousand Corpses. Like, it was just really weird and different and fun. And he's done stuff with, he did the Thanksgiving trailer that was in Planet Terror and the old Tarantino stuff. And speaking of Thanksgiving is right now the biggest thing on Netflix. It's the #1 trending movie at the time of this recording of this video. And that's an Eli Roth project. So this movie, he's done stuff like Hostel. He's done the remake of Death Wish with Bruce Willis. His role in Inglourious Bastards as the Bear Jew is one of the highlights of a masterpiece of a movie. Like, the dude knows entertainment, and he's the guy running the whole thing. So ultimately, I'm very optimistic about the entire thing. It's got good people behind it, running it. They shouldn't have put on the poster that it's from the folks that brought you Venom and from the folks that brought you Uncharted, because even though Venom is an entertaining movie, it's not a good movie. And the Uncharted movie actually isn't entertaining, and I hated everything about that. Everything about the Uncharted movie. So maybe not put, I would rather have put from the guy behind Cabin Fever and Thanksgiving, but they're not the commercial heavyweights that is the Uncharted and Venoms, and that makes sense. So overall, and all in all, I'm very excited about this movie. The new trailer should be coming out any day now, and we are getting this movie this year, so we will get to see. And if this doesn't give you the itch to head back out there and start hunting vaults again and collecting artifacts and shooting psychos and monsters from the sky and collecting, the loot was the best part of that game. All the different guns and perks. Oh, man. Yeah, the itch is back. And if you guys want to find a place to stick your itching finger at, you can itch it right on that like button and hit subscribe and join the League of Blades. Lots of other fun, geeky, heroically over-the-top nerd content here on the channel. Lots of other reviews and guides and video game playthroughs and just all sorts of fun, nerdy stuff. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye, everybody.